This collection of extraordinary mementos have come from Catherine and Herman Rogers, who were very close friends of Wallis. They first met in the 1920s and remained lifelong friends. It was to them that she fled during the abdication crisis and listened to Edward making his speech over the radio at their villa Louvie in Cannes, France. And it was Herman who gave Wallis away on her wedding day at the Château de Candé a year later in 1937. So they were very, very important, very close friends. And all of these little mementos are a testament to that. And these have been stored in a safe in a basement in Canada since they were inherited by Herman Rogers' granddaughter around the year 2000. When the Rogerses went to the Château de Candé, they took with them their guest book from their villa Louvie. And it's quite fascinating because you see Wallis visit in the 20s and she's Wallis Warfield. Then she becomes Wallis Warfield Simpson when she marries Ernest Simpson. And then, of course, later on, she becomes the Duchess of Windsor. The Narling Cruise photographs are fascinating. We see the king at play. He's photographed looking rather emaciated and pale, with no shirt on, bathing on the beach, which was unheard of for a royal king to do that. I mean, no one had ever seen a king without his shirt before. We see Wallis in her rubber bathing hat and little skimpy swimsuit. But all the world outside were getting press photographs of this. But no one in Britain knew about this affair. It had been completely stifled by the UK press. At the end of this wonderful holiday, he decided he didn't want this holiday to end. It was just too wonderful. And so he persuaded Catherine, Herman and Wallis to join him at Balmoral Castle. They had a great time. They went stalking, walking, had lovely parties, and there were fantastic photographs of them sort of messing around, and everyone's laughing at Edward wearing his stalking cape. The pictures are very sweet, but it was this last halcyon moment before everything turned dark and news of Wallis's impending divorce began to be publicised, and it was reported in the press that the king wanted to marry Wallis. And it's an extraordinary account of the wedding itself because there were only 28 guests recorded, and when you imagine this had been the King of England, if he'd got married without Wallis to someone else, that there would have been tens of thousands of crowds cheering, hundreds of people, the great and the good from across the world attending, and this was it, 28 people, and not one member of his family was present. It was a big sacrifice for him. He gave up everything. He gave up his kingship, his crown, his empire, all for Wallis Simpson, all for the woman he loved. Poor Wallis.